Vice-Chancellor, today we are delighted to welcome as guest speaker Professor of Asian Studies at the University of Melbourne Asia Institute, Professor Vedi Hadiz. Before joining the Asia Institute in 2016, Professor Hadiz was Professor of Asian Societies and Politics at Murdoch's University, and he was also their Director of Indonesia Research Program. An Indonesian national, he was an Australian Research Council Future Fellow from 2010 to 2014. Professor Hadiz's research interests revolve around political sociology and political economy, especially those related to the contradictions of development in Indonesia and Southeast Asia more broadly, and more recently in the Middle East. His latest book is entitled Islamic Populism in Indonesia and the Middle East. That builds on an extensive and impressive publication record of studies of Indonesian and Southeast Asian politics. He has been a visiting scholar in the School of Advanced Studies and Social Sciences in France, the International Institute of Social Studies in the Netherlands, the Centre of Southeast Asian Studies in the University of Kyoto, and the Department of Sociology at the University of Indonesia, where he is also an adjunct professor. It is my great pleasure to call on him to speak to us today. Thank you.
Chancellor, Presiding Vice-Chancellor, Presiding Dean, distinguished members of the academic procession, graduates, friends and families. It is my pleasure to speak on this momentous occasion in the lives of our graduates. Whether you are departing with an undergraduate or postgraduate degree, it is fair to say that you are all at an important crossroads of your journey. Tonight, you are all the same. Whether you are a student who came to study in Australia from elsewhere, like I did many years ago, or someone who was born and raised in this country, whether your contribution to the world will be mainly made in Africa, Southeast Asia, or here in the state of Victoria. For most of you, what occurs after tonight will be exciting, but also a time of new questions and worries about what comes next. This is all perfectly natural. In truth, we are all always a bit worried about what's around the corner in this increasingly fast-changing world. And no matter how we try to be ready for it, the world always manages a way to surprise us, hopefully in ways that are often as good as they are as not so good. So please do take pride in your achievements and enjoy the moment. For in all honesty, it will be all too fleeting. Yet this does not mean that it cannot be savored while it lasts. In fact, an important skill to master is not to take moments like these for granted, but to use them as a chance to step back, take a deep breath, and yes, congratulate yourselves for what you have achieved, for there is nothing wrong with that at all. In this way, occasions such as tonight may become more meaningful than the mere hours for which they last. Think of the moments of self-doubt that many of you would have experienced in the last couple of years. Think of the times that you weren't sure that you would make it. When finishing the next task seemed like a bridge too far. Yet, here you all are, like all the many who came before you. Remember this night when, in the future, you experience such moments of doubt again, for they are inevitable if you are, like myself, a mere mortal. It may just provide you with the mental tool to deal with whatever the world cares to throw at you next. And there are many kinds of things that the world will throw at you. Of this, you can be 1000% sure. Some of you will already have a clear idea of where your next challenge lies. Others of you, maybe the majority of you, are still pondering. Either way, I think it's just fine. All power to those with a strong sense of purpose and knowledge of where they want to go. For those of you who don't, please do be patient with yourselves. If it's any solace, few things ever go according to plan in life anyway. In truth, it may not be possible to chart your life's journey as if using GPS technology, because the terrain you go through will keep shifting even while you are making your travel plans. That's the world that we live in today. Now, I usually hate to offer myself as an example to others, but I'll break that rule tonight and do it. On many crossroads that I had encountered while pursuing my own education, I honestly was one of those who had no idea where I was going next. Even after completing my PhD, I wasn't even sure that I wanted to be an academic. But here I am now in these flowing robes, a respectable full professor in a distinguished university, addressing you all on this very auspicious occasion. When I look back at everything now, I think that I may not have got here if I had planned it all too carefully. It took many twists and turns of fate to arrive here in front of you. You will have your own twists and turns of fate. As an educator, what I wish for you all is that the experience of studying at the University of Melbourne will help you to navigate through these twists and turns in the best way possible. That your final destination, even if not exactly what you imagine it to be sitting here tonight, is one that will be worth making the journey for. But before all that, sit back, relax, smile, and take as many photographs that your parents and friends want to take of you. May the knowledge of successfully undertaking what is required to be at this graduation spur you on wherever life takes you next. Thank you very much.